Well, without further ado, let us launch into our onboarding session this morning, onboarding orientation. And I'm really delighted that we have some new members with us, some team members of firms who are already members of the Giving Institute and so on. So hopefully this is helpful information for all of you to get just the lay of the land and be able to think about how you want to plug into this work as a volunteer driven organization. This is what we make of it. And so, to Gabe's point, I think there's really no limit to what we are able to do together. And our community of practitioners, as we all know, is just more important than ever. So, here we go. And we will share this with you after our session here today. Let me see. Madison, I think I'm just going to ask you to advance the slides if you wouldn't mind, because I'm not seeing how I can do that. So if you could go to the next slide, please. And let me, I excuse my oversight. Madison Williams is our membership committee liaison at MCI, which is the association management firm that we contract with to provide staffing services and other support and partnership to the work of the Giving Institute and the Giving USA Foundation. So Madison, thank you as always for your partnership and helping us help all of our prospective members and new members have a great experience with us. So Brenda, could I ask you just to talk through the history and mission and values of the Giving Institute, please?
Sure. Thank you so much, Kate. We just, I don't want to read the slide to you, but I just want to just say that, the Giving Institute is not a new organization, as you can see. We were established in 1935 as the American Association of Fundraising Council. Then we grew up in 2005 and renamed ourselves as the Giving Institute. So as you know, we are a trade association. And our goal really is to enhance the professionalism and create high standards for what is largely an unregulated area of fundraising, of professional fundraising. Our mission to actively champion through leadership that empowers generosity. We created our strategic plan. It's been, I think we're at the end of 3 years of our current strategic plan. And as we went about that work as an organization, one of the areas and core values that we really leaned into was the power of generosity and looking at how do we expand the definition of philanthropy to be much more inclusive. When we look at living our values, we are guarded by our Giving Institute ethical principles in terms of community excellence and diversity and inclusion in all that we do. These ethical principles are embedded in all of our programming sessions that Jim touched on. You see it exhibited as a part of the meetings, which you will be attending soon as new members. We live our values as an association, not only collectively as an association, but also we live them through our work with our clients, the leadership that we exhibit in the sector, and our collaboration with other member firms. When we are in the room together, we are in the room as a collective body in advancing the ethics of our sector and the ethics of being one-minded in serving the sector and making the world a better place. Voting directors. Each Giving Institute member organization is permitted one voting director. This person is permitted to vote during all board meetings. We update voting directors at any time. So if there is a change in transition, a change or a transition within the organization, we would ask that you notify us so we can make that update to our directory. So we are very clear on who the voting directors are. Albeit we have voting directors, we also highly encourage participation from all members of associated of members in firms and consultancies. So while we have one voting member, we engage inclusive and expansive participation from all members of your respective consultancies and businesses. Can you go to the next slide?
Thanks, Brenda. And Wendy, depending on your timing, I think some combo of you and Gabe could orient us to the role of the Giving USA Foundation, please.
Yeah, happy to give you my 2 cents, and then Gabe, you jump into, and then I will have to run. Since 1956, Giving USA Foundation has been around. We are the research side of the Giving Institute. Our members are the same. They are members of the Giving Institute who choose to serve in some capacity, either on Giving USA committees or on the board. It's a little bit different than Giving USA. Brenda just explained that each firm has a seat on the board of Giving Institute. Giving USA's board is much smaller, and we elect people to that board each year. Giving USA has several different committees and would love to have you all think about how you'd like to plug in. That is one of your first steps, is kind of looking around and talking to people about how you'd like to get involved with the Giving Institute. But on the foundation side, there are lots of opportunities for you to get involved. If you want to be directly involved with the report, Giving USA, which comes out every June, there's the ACM, the Methodology Committee. There's the Editorial Review Board that you could plug into. But there are also a research committee that looks ahead and says, what is the next research we want to be doing? How are we going to fund that? Who might our partners be? Who might our research partners be? So there's a very active research committee. There's a marketing committee that helps us market Giving USA to the public. And then there's a global philanthropy committee that is newly appointed and just sort of getting underway, but an interesting one that we'll probably have an update from in the March or April. When is our meeting? March, April?
March,
end of this month in Austin. I hope I've covered all the committees. I feel like I'm leaving one out, but all that.
Yeah, I think we have them listed, Wendy. I think we have them listed later on in the
So you
deck.
see them there, and if you want to know what's involved in each one of them, then happy to talk to you about it, but we'd love to have you be a part.
The only things I'll add is, I don't think Wendy mentioned this explicitly, but we work with the Lilly School of Philanthropy at Indiana currently on doing a lot of our research. So it's a really fun team to work with, some really bright folks. And as part of the work around the report and other reports we do, we coordinate with the Giving Institute and you guys to give you presentations and assets that you can deliver to your community,
Yes.
which is great because it helps you sort of get the trust arbitrage of the Giving Institute and Giving USA brand, which is amazing, but it allows you to deliver this really great research to your audience.
Good point, Gabe. So now, as members of the Giving Institute,
That's exactly
Giving
where,
USA.
yes, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Sorry, I was just saying that was a great point, Gabe. And now, as members of Giving Institute, you will get Giving USA early and be prepared to make your own presentations to your constituents and stakeholders. Jennifer. That's who I forgot. The ambassadors. Jennifer. Were you saying something? Go ahead. Well, let me go ahead and say, I forgot the Giving USA ambassadors, which is a newly formed council, a group of people who are comfortable speaking to the media, who are comfortable helping us give presentations, because as Giving USA gets better and better known, we are asked by more and more people to present the results each year to bodies, groups that we are all affiliated with. So if you'd like to be a part of that group, then Jennifer Giles, who's also on the call, is the person to speak to about that.
Thanks, Wendy. Thank you, Gabe. Thanks, Jennifer. And for those of you who are new members to Giving Institute, thank you so much, Wendy. Be well. See you soon in Austin. For those of you who are new to the Giving Institute, Madison, I'm just making a note that we should make sure that they receive the meeting invite to the member briefing for the report in June, which is a really critical and fun moment when we get the inside advanced look at what the key findings of the report are for this particular period of time. So thank you so much. Let's go to the next slide, please. Great. Well, I can just say a word about the Generosity Commission. I would imagine that most of you on this call have heard in some way, shape, or form about the Generosity Commission and the recently released report on generosity from the Generosity Commission. We at the Giving Institute are very proud of the fact that we birthed the Generosity Commission. And as just to sort of long story short, I think as most of you know, the inspiration for this was the really disturbing trend that we are continuing to see and reflect on of fewer households participating in giving and acts of generosity. And so a commission was established of leaders from across the country. Jane Wales from the Aspen Institute has been a key player and a key leader in this. And with the report out now, the Giving Institute has lifted up the mantle of sharing the report, but more importantly, convening conversations around the country about how we want to think about actioning the recommendations in the report. Brenda, is there anything you'd like to say about this and where we are at this point in time?
Yeah, thank you, Kate. The report was actually completed and released in the fall of 2024. And since that time, the Giving Institute has been working toward activating what we're calling a national conversation. We launched the national conversation last year in November, where we hosted a panel comprised of our sector leaders, AFP, AHP, CASE, and the Giving USA Foundation. Since that time, and we had nearly 1,000 individuals across the country join in for that conversation. Since that time, we are continuing to elevate and activate the recommendations from that report by participating in different conferences. We are in the midst of reconfiguring a task force. We're calling it the Generosity Commission 2.0 committee to continue to look at ways that we can activate not only the conversation, but also create greater generosity that we're able to actually measure and be able to come back with additional research to uplift the work that we're doing. Just recently, there was a body of work that was conducted by one of our members on donors' perception of the renewal of the Charitable Universal Act. And so this is information that we share, with our members first, so you are apprised of what's going on that front as well as other fronts. So one of the benefits of membership is being able to have access to early information before it goes public. So you have the opportunity to, use this information as a part of your planning, use this information as a part of your work within your organization and within your consultancies and businesses. So more to come on the work of the national conversation and how you can plug into that work through your respective organizations.
Thanks, Brenda. Wonderful.
Mhm.
Let's go to the next slide, please. Great. So somebody who is not with us today, but who you'll be hearing from and seeing a lot more of in the days and years ahead is Paul Kareen, who is the COO of KCI, a long-standing member of the Giving Institute. Paul will be following Brenda as the next chair of the Giving Institute, and he played an instrumental role in our strategic planning process and also arriving at the new expression of our ethical principles, what we refer to as living our values. So as Brenda mentioned, we're in really the final phase of our current strategic plan. And likely in the not too distant future, we'll be making a plan for refreshing and determining what our next set of strategic objectives are. But you can see here 3 goals that have been anchoring our work since for about 5 years now. The first, of course, is continuing to advance and support our sector leadership and brand positioning. One of the things that you will see very soon, I don't think it's been released yet, Brenda, correct me if I'm wrong, is a new and improved website for
Yeah.
the Giving Institute and the Giving USA, and a marketing committee that is really looking at how we can extend the visibility and awareness of our organizations going forward.
It will be released in Austin later on this month. So we're doing
Perfect.
the big splash at the Austin meeting.
So great, so great,
Yeah.
so great. And Tim Burcham has been leading that effort. Our second goal, which many of you here today are representative of, is to continue to grow our membership so that we are more representative of the breadth and depth of firms who are consulting and providing services to nonprofit organizations. So our membership is now over 70. We're at an all-time high, and there are additional firms that are in the pipeline as we speak. And in addition to growing membership, we also are very mindful of the importance of with the Giving Institute, and that they see the value, experience the value, and continue to renew their membership. So retention is also a very important goal for us going forward. We have really two goals that we've been working, sub goals that we've been working on here. One, as I said, is to increase the types of firms and businesses who are members of the Giving Institute. So, initially this was an organization of primarily fundraising consulting firms. We now see firms who offer technology and software services and solutions. We see communications and branding firms. We see executive search firms. We see multi-service firms and so on. So we're really excited to be able to have the benefit of a broader worldview. And to that point, we also have been working very intently on increasing the racial and ethnic diversity of our member firms, especially at the leadership level, again, with the primary goal of strengthening the representation and the ideas and the life experiences that we have to benefit from as a part of our membership, our networking, our thought leadership, our sharing of experience and mentoring, and so on. We just simply feel a tremendous responsibility to ensure that our organization, when people experience us, is truly representative of all of the incredible people who are advising and selling services to nonprofit organizations. So spent a little time on that because, of course, this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. And then finally, our third goal, strengthening the capacity of member firms. Jim will speak to this in a minute, but clearly one of the most important benefits that we offer to our members is professional development and educational opportunities, leadership opportunities, and those happen both in formal and informal settings. There's a lot, as you will see as you start to attend meetings, there's just an incredible generosity of spirit that exists within our organization. And if you have a question about an issue or an opportunity that your firm or business is contemplating, I can pretty much guarantee that there is at least one person in the membership of the Giving Institute who has walked that same path and would be willing to sit and talk with you, over breakfast, at a happy hour, over lunch, to say, tell me what's happening and let me share our experience with you so that you can either learn from what we did and maybe not repeat the same mistakes that we made. So just really, really great stuff. And the programming that happens at our spring and fall meetings, and again at the summer symposium, is really top notch. And what I love about it is that it is very directly and uniquely tailored to who we are and what we do, right? It's just like you show up and you feel, okay, this is helping me be a better consultant. This is helping me work better with my clients. This is helping me build my firm. This is helping me ensure that our firm is future-proofed. I mean, all these sorts of things. So I think I'll be very interested in hearing how you experience this as you go forward. So on to the next slide. Thank you. Brenda, I'm asking you to talk a lot today. I'm sorry, but would
That's
you mind?
okay.
Great, go
That's
for
okay.
it. Go
Yeah,
for it.
we have 3 board meetings a year, and we time them spring, summer, and fall. The spring meeting, which is happening in March, typically it does happen in March. So this year it will be happening in Austin, and we change locations every year for the March meeting. It consists of a day of educational sessions, professional development, and then a half day. It's not really a half day of Giving Institute and board meetings, because typically it's like 2 hours. So I just don't want y'all to feel like you have a half day of heavy lifting going on, but it's a lot more educational. We do carve out time for a board report out from the Giving Institute, as well as a board report out from the Giving USA Foundation. And then our summer meeting, the attendance for spring meeting is somewhere typically between 60 to sometimes 80. It just depends on the location and timing and when folks are available. The largest meeting of the year that an extensive amount of time goes into planning is the Summer Symposium, which typically takes place in July. And again, this is a meeting that moves around as well. So it's typically somewhere between 2.5 to 3 days of educational sessions and professional development. This year, the Summer Symposium will be held in San Diego from July 8th through the 10th. So in addition to the educational sessions, we do have experiences that are built into all of these sessions, but particularly the Summer Symposium. And this is also the time where I think we met many of you as a part of our Golden Ticket opportunity. And then we have our fall meeting, which takes place typically in Chicago, where again, it's a day of educational and professional development sessions. And for the past few years, we've been hosting what we call the Mentor Series. So I don't know, Kate, if it's okay, I'd like to turn it over to Jim, because so much of what happens during these moments revolve around the programming, where Jim's committee takes the lead on the experience. So
Yes.
Jim, why don't I turn it over to you?
Thanks. Hey, everybody. So as Brenda mentioned, we are the Program and Education Committee, and we are a small but mighty committee that works specifically on both the spring and fall meetings. Folks, we are, as you know, are all volunteer led, and so we are always looking for folks who want to be involved in this. The mention of the day, and sometimes it's a day and a half of educational sessions and professional development, range from things like full-on interactive conversations. We call those some of our educational sessions. Then we also do a lot of roundtable discussions that are pretty informal. And as well, we've, over the past several years, come to really love and appreciate something called lightning rounds. These are 8-minute mini presentations that folks will give. And sometimes they're about the sector. They're about what's happening. Often they're about specific professional development topics. And then also there are those lightning rounds that are about the firm or agency and helping us run our businesses. And so a wide variety. When I joined, we were already a member of the Giving Institute, and I took over the voting director from my colleague who retired from the firm. And when I went to my first meeting, I was a little overwhelmed by all the things that were going on, and also how well everybody around me knew each other. And so I was determined to find a way to be involved. And I found the Program and Education Committee. I joined it, and my role in that was a really small one. I just simply helped be part of hospitality for the first couple of meetings. Really small way to get involved, but it was a way for me to meet other folks. And then lo and behold, here I am today, surrounded by some pretty incredible people like Brenda and Kate and Wendy and Gabe, Poonam, and others here who have so much to share and are willing to share it. It's probably, for me, the thing that I get out of most of this involvement, I get the most out of, I should say, is the fact that everyone is willing to share even though we sometimes compete on projects, we never compete when we're at a Giving Institute meeting. We all are great about sharing and making not only ourselves better, our firms better, and but lifting up the sector, as they said. So you can be involved in a lot of different ways. You can join the committee. You can put your hand up to do just simply lead a roundtable. You can choose to do a lightning round, and as you get more comfortable, you might decide that you'd like to provide an educational session. We love all of that. And the only way you have to get involved is just simply let me know that you want to be involved in some way, and then we'll have an offline conversation and figure out the best way to plug you in. You do not have to be a voting member to be on our committee. In fact, a lot of people on our committee are not voting members. So great way to be involved in a really small way or in a bigger way if you decide that's the route you want to go.
Thanks so much, Jim. Awesome. All right, let's go to the next slide, please, Madison. Well, we've touched on a bunch of these opportunities already, and I won't go through all of these. Let me just say that as a volunteer-led, volunteer-driven organization, a lot of the work that we do, of course, happens in committees. And you can see a pretty comprehensive list here of both the committees that support the work of the Giving Institute, as well as the committees that support the work of the Giving USA Foundation. So I really encourage you, especially those of you who are sort of hearing all of this for the first time today, to contemplate where it is you want to plug in. Again, we are only as good as the degree to which our members are engaged with doing this work. So there's just a lot here. And if you would like to learn more, for example, about the marketing committee or the committee that Jim just spoke of, the program and education committee, our public policy committee, which has, to say the least, been reactivated given the level of public policy discussion that is happening in Washington, D.C. at the moment, the Summer Symposium Committee, et cetera. Please send a message to info@givinginstitute.org that goes straight to Madison Williams, and she will connect you with the committee chair so that you can have a conversation about what it looks like, what the work of that committee looks like, and how you might want to plug in. There is also a Sign Up Genius sign up page. If you just know that you want to plug into a particular area, click on that link once you get this deck, and you can indicate your interest and somebody will reach out to you right away. And I will just say a third option is that if you want to talk further about all of these opportunities, I would be very happy to schedule a quick call with you on Zoom or visit with you at the Austin meeting or the Summer Symposium to just hear what's on your mind and maybe help to direct you to a place where your interests and your skills and your goals could be put to best use. So those are three ways that you can sort of plug in here. But the bottom line message that I'll hope you will take away from this is that there are lots of opportunities for engagement. And we hope that at least one member of every member firm will get engaged with one of our committees. And in some cases, we've got 5, 6, or 7 people working in our a member firm that are engaged with one or more of these committees. So that's the scoop. Brenda, you want to say more there?
Yeah, I just want to just thank all of our leaders in the room today, because this truly is a volunteer-driven organization. We appreciate the partnership that we have with MCI as kind of our back office, but the real work really takes place given the efforts of folks in the room here. They're leading, they're doing, they are phenomenal, and they find time to really prioritize the work of the Giving Institute. And we are who we are because of the contribution of the members. So again, I encourage you as new members, please get involved. You will get out of this what you put into it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and just I think pay close attention to that last section of this slide, which is that your membership includes your entire organization. So this is a great leadership development, professional development opportunity as well. I mean, for me personally, I started attending Giving Institute meetings when I was an executive vice president of Collins Group, which was then acquired by Campbell and Company. That was probably at least 15 years ago that I started attending meetings, and now as co-president of Campbell and Company, I'm the voting director and just engaged in a more a deeper level. So there's so much that you can avail yourself of here. So thanks so much, Brenda, for that that prompt. Let's go to the next slide, please, Madison. So just really for your reference, these are the people who are currently serving in leadership roles for the two organizations. Again, when you come to your first meeting, we really try to make an effort to ensure that you feel welcome, that you're introduced to these folks. They will reach out to you, but also just for you to know that if you have a question or something, you know, that you'd like to discuss with someone, this is a great place to start. Next slide, please. Here are your membership committee co-chairs. I should say that Chad Paris, who is currently working with me as co-chair of the membership committee, has very generously agreed to take on the leadership of the new task force that Brenda mentioned, the Generosity Commission 2.0 group. So he is going to step back from his membership committee role, at least in the near term. And so I'll be your primary point of contact, and then we'll be inviting a new colleague to join me in the co-chair role. But just please know that there's really nothing more that I enjoy than getting on a Zoom or a phone call with a current member, a prospective member, what have you. So just never hesitate to reach out to me. I'm in the Pacific time zone most of the time, and very happy to schedule a call or a Zoom with you at any point. Next slide, please. Here are your staff contacts. As I mentioned, Madison is with us on the call today. You have probably already received emails from Erin Berggren, who's our executive director, and then Fiona Brookman is serving in the role of marketing coordinator. So I think just for the purposes of plugging in these early days of your membership, or if you're part of a member firm and trying to figure out how to plug in, Madison and Erin are a great place to start. And again, I just hope that you'll reach out to me with any specific questions that I might be able to help with. Next slide, please. This, I think you've all seen, is just a visual representation of how we attempt to implement a thoughtful and effective onboarding program for our new members. So really, I think what I'll point out is that I would say that a priority for you, I would encourage you to make as a priority coming to, if you haven't already registered for the Austin meeting, if you're able to squeeze that into your schedule, please come. At a minimum, please plan to attend the Summer Symposium in San Diego. That event attendance, I think, is really where it's going to start to feel real, and you're going to get a sense of just how cool and fun and smart and generous this group is. And then what we try to do about 6 months in is to have a member of the membership committee reach out to you to check in to see how things are going for you. And then once we're through the first year and you're at the point of contemplating renewal of your membership, we want to have a deeper conversation with you. So those are the nuts and bolts of how we attempt to ensure a successful onboarding for all of our new members. Next slide, please. All right, thank goodness we can stop talking, because I'm sure you're tired of hearing at least my voice. I could listen to Brenda all day long, but you know, whatever. So I see one name in the chat. Others of you who are here on the call, if you have a question or a comment that you'd like to bring forward today, go ahead and put your name in the chat and I will call on you. But Adriana, what's on your mind?
Hey, Kate. That slide with the committees was really helpful. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'm wondering if there's like a high need or an area where you're looking for more support that you'd call out to some of the new members here.
It's a great question. Brenda, Jim, Jim, I have a feeling I know what you would say.
Yeah,
Uh,
raising my hand.
yeah, but go ahead.
Absolutely.
What do you two, how would you two think about that? And Gabe, from the perspective of the Giving USA Foundation as well, like, why don't you share your thoughts? Let's start with Jim, then go to Gabe, and then Brenda.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to take Brenda. Brenda, I don't want to take any of your
No, no,
thunder.
no. Go ahead, Jim.
There, being part of either the summer symposium committee or the program and education committee is gonna give you the most exposure to the whole organization. Because we plan the events and the content, and so you'll get a chance to meet a lot of people. You'll get a chance to be on the inside as we think about the kind of educational content we want to provide throughout the year. And it's great because as a member of either one of these committees, you can do just a really small commitment of time and have a big impact. So I definitely, Summer Symposium is a separate committee. We work side by side with the Summer Symposium Committee. So you have a couple of choices there that I think are really beneficial.
Thanks, Jim. Gabe, what are your thoughts from the Giving USA Foundation perspective? Areas of high need or great places to plug in?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say this, but you should start where Jim just said to start, which is Summer Symposium. The hard part about being like, even with the Giving USA, there's just sort of stuff to learn about the organization, which just takes time, like hanging around other members and figuring out what all of the things are, because it can feel a little bit confusing when you first start. The best way to get through that confusion really quickly is helping with the Summer Symposium Planning Committee, because you're going to get to understand like who all of the members are, what really matters to them, how to communicate with them. You're going to get to be a part of this amazing event with like great speakers, and you'll walk out of that understanding how all the pieces fit together and where you most want to dive in. So I know I should advocate for something on the Giving USA side, but in my experience, because I jumped in on the Summer Symposium Committee, gosh, it's just like a great way to microwave the experience.
Yeah, let me just speak to the Summer Symposium Committee. Currently this year, we have 3 co-chairs, and each of them are committed to driving in a particular lane. So we have the program component of Summer Symposium, looking and working closely with program and education and Jim. What is the educational and professional development offering? Then we have a marketing committee looking at how are we promoting, not, internally as well as externally as it relates to golden tickets, to really promote the Summer Symposium. And then we have hospitality. We will be in San Diego. So what should we be doing in terms of the experience while we're in that locale? And what are the fun activities that we could take advantage of from a social perspective? Like Jim and Gabe, when I first got involved, I got involved on the Summer Symposium Committee and eventually ended up chairing it in 2018. So it's a great place to get plugged in because there's a lot of work. It is our largest event of the year, where we have somewhere between 125 and 175 in attendance. So it is a lot of work. It is our largest event. It is the one that takes 6 to 9 months of planning. So if anyone is interested on just getting connected, that would be a committee. So let me know so I can connect you with the leaders of that committee, and we can figure out a good place where they continue to need some support. As you know, we're currently in March, so and the event is in July. So planning is hot and heavy right now. So please, there's a sense of urgency. So let me know, and we're happy to get you plugged in.
Thanks, Brenda. Gabe, Poonam put a question in the chat about the editorial review board, the methodology group. Is there any room at the moment or value at the moment for new members plugging into one or both of those groups?
Yeah, it's a really good question, Poonam. I honestly don't know. I haven't been directly involved with that committee. I know they're amazing, but I don't know what the needs are in that right now. But I can take a note, Poonam, and get with Wendy and maybe follow back up with this group just so you guys can have an understanding of what the needs are there.
Great.
We may be for this year. I think we've got all the reviewers in place and we're starting that process very soon. However, every year we're looking for folks to review chapters of the report. And what it looks like is you sign up for an area that you feel like you have some expertise in. And our job is, I'm on that review board. Our job is to take the chapter and make sure that we're including all the content that we know is relevant. So it's a couple of passes at that, and it's really an interesting way, particularly if you really have a passion for any part of the nonprofit sector.
Thanks, Jim. I forgot you're on that board. I should just pass off to you from the beginning.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, Kate, I just want to again encourage everyone to go to the website and look at the Sign Up Genius. We are about, our new year starts August 1, just so you have a sense of our fiscal year. So August 1 is a new year for us. And so getting onto a committee at this point is kind of midstream. And so again, what's gonna happen August 1, we will have some committees will have new leadership, because that typically happens when there's a leadership transition from one chair to the next. Of course, we will be visiting with Jim and Kate, wanting to make sure that, are they willing to stay on for another 2 years? And how do we, what we call, put in place succession planning? Because that's part of what we're doing, as well as leadership development and growing our future leaders of the Giving Institute. So that's why we focus and emphasize so much on engagement, because and your participation on committees really informs our view in terms of the leadership pipeline for the organization. So please go to the Sign Up Genius, indicate where you can plug in, because there are a lot of different opportunities. Even though we're, few months out from our new year, we still have opportunities for participation, for you to just start learning about the work of these different committees.
Thanks, Brenda. And at the risk of being too on the nose here, I'm just going to share. Let me see if I can do this. Okay, you can see here, this is when you go to our current website, under about, there's a link to the GI committees that takes you to this page. And if you, for example, were interested in serving on the membership committee, you would click here, and it would take you to a page where you could sign up directly for the committee, or you can see what's happening with the other committees as well, right? So thank you, Brenda, for reminding us of that. And yeah, at a minimum, check that out, and then reach out to Brenda or me, or one of the committee chairs, and we will get you connected. Poonam also mentioned in her chat that we've got some new affinity groups that are forming. And forgive me because I can't remember the exact names of them. I know there's one that is focused on sort of early career emerging leaders, right?
That's right. That is our first affinity group. We officially rolled that out in November.
Okay.
And that affinity group will meet quarterly and decide together on what the topic is. So we'll actually be doing our next quarterly meeting around that. So we'll be sharing that information. Again, you can join and just listen. Yeah, if this is an area that you are interested in or appeals to you, or you can participate. You can do either one, and we'll be rolling out additional affinity groups at the summer symposium.
Cool. All right. Well, I don't see any other questions in the chat. So just again, if there's something on your mind, just feel free to pop your name in the chat. Otherwise, I will just I think close with a couple of comments. One is a huge thank you for joining the Giving Institute and for showing up today. Really terrific to sort of see you. I mean, I'm just I'm bummed that I'm not seeing your faces, but so be it. But glad you were able to be here with us today. I want to encourage you, when you receive this onboarding deck, to share it with other people in your firm. As an example of that, Adriana, Sarah Wagner, and Max and Heather are all colleagues of mine at Campbell & Company. I shared the invitation for this session with everybody in our firm. I'm so glad that the four of them were able to sit in today. So we do these meetings on roughly a quarterly basis. So as you're talking with other colleagues in your firms and
Mhm.
businesses and they want to learn more, this is a great way for them to do that. And then just finally, please prioritize to the extent that your schedule allows to join us in Austin, at the very least in San Diego in July. And just know that we are here to support your early days at the Giving Institute to ensure that you feel welcomed and oriented and know how to plug in. And we're just grateful to have the opportunity to work with you, to learn from you, and to all together ensure that our industry is doing the best work that it can to support a strong and thriving social sector in the United States and around the world. So thank you so much for being here. We sure appreciate you, and I wish you all a great rest of your day, and stay tuned for a follow-up email from at Madison here, probably just later today. Be well.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. See ya.
See you soon. Bye-bye.